No one has the power to shatter your dreams unless you give it to them.
On the first day, the game we play is for one. One opportunity to become the one, to beat the one. And it all starts here. 30 superstars, one winner, one opportunity to become that one. That one true champion.
Because I've dreamt it, I will manifest it.
Every year, the Royal Rumble is the most exciting WWE show of the year, and this year is shaping up to be no different. So just how could the 2022 Royal Rumble play out? Well, that, my friends, that's what I'm here for today, as I bring to you how to book the 2022 Royal Rumble. Just for a heads up, the meat and potatoes of this video is the men's Royal Rumble match, the rest of which I'll breeze by but still let you know what happens. So, for starters, the show kicks off with the Universal Championship match as Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins do battle. I thought I'd start the show off big. This match goes for 20 minutes with Roman Reigns winning clean over Seth Rollins. Also, Roman Reigns gets Twitter talking for using a dirty deeds on Seth Rollins. From here we get a recap of Drew McIntyre's promo from the January 10th episode of Raw. Drew in this promo is frustrated and devastated about having to miss the 2022 Royal Rumble due to a neck surgery. And then from here we get a live cross at the Royal Rumble from ringside to Drew McIntyre in his home in Scotland, who's watching the event. Drew picks Damian Priest to win the 2022 Men's Royal Rumble match. Next up is the Women's Royal Rumble. This is the only part of the show which I want no part of booking. Legit, any of like 7 different women could win this and it would be fine. Personally speaking, I'm not really bothered by who wins it. So this one is up to your own imagination. Whoever wins the Women's Rumble, that's up to you, the viewer. All the best, have fun with that. From here to follow that, we get the Raw Women's Championship match, where, guess what? Becky wins. Lol, as usual. After this, we go backstage and we see Paul Heyman in Brock Lesnar's locker room. Paul does one of the all-time great interviews, absolutely destroying MVP and Bobby Lashley verbally. Legit, this would be one of the all-time great backstage interviews, Paul Heyman doing what he does best. Next, we get the mixed tag team match, where Edge and Beth Phoenix defeat The Miz and Maurice. Not much else to say here, Edge wins. Enough said. Now it's time for the big one, the 2022 Men's Royal Rumble match. For starters, we see a vignette of a bunch of wrestlers drawing their entry numbers backstage, just like the old days. Then, we get one of the best Royal Rumble hype videos in the history of the event. And no, I don't mean Royal Rumble by the numbers part 504, I mean a hype video that showcases, predominantly, Damian Priest, Big E, Kevin Owens, and AJ Styles. The package puts them forth as the favourites, with the key theme being, this opportunity means everything. So with hype at a fever pitch, the 2022 Men's Royal Rumble gets underway. At entry 1 is The Miz. Miz hobbles his way down to the ring, grabs a mic, and is bitching about how unfair it is that he has to enter at entry number 1 in the Rumble after just having competed in a match. Miz is going on and on. Then, at entry number 2, Bad Bunny's music hits. Miz is stunned, the roof absolutely blows off the arena. Bad Bunny makes his way down to the ring, we get loud "This is awesome" chants, the bell rings, and the match is underway. Their exchange is near enough identical to the one from WrestleMania 37. They have that period where Miz can't hit Bad Bunny's punching at the Miz, getting a loud pop. Eventually the Miz gets in control of Bad Bunny, then the countdown timer begins for entry number 3. And entry number 3 is Johnny Knoxville. I'm getting the celebrity crap out of the way early. Johnny comes down to a mediocre reaction. Not too many people care about Johnny Knoxville. Knoxville and Bad Bunny beat away on The Miz. Then at entry number 4 is Kevin Owens. Owens rushes his way down into the fray. Owens motions as though he's going to squat up with Knoxville and Bunny, but Owens, being the true heel douchebag he is, grabs Knoxville from behind and eliminates him. But then, immediately after that, Bad Bunny grabs The Miz from behind and tosses him out as well. This gets a massive pop. Bad Bunny eliminating The Miz from the Royal Rumble. This goes all over TMZ. We see clips of this worldwide. You love to see it. From here we get a Bad Bunny and Kevin Owens stare down. Then at entry 5, we get Rey Mysterio. At entry 6, we get Finn, Fergs, Balor. Balor sprints down, he springs up onto the top rope and delivers a 6 shotgun dropkick to Kevin Owens. From here, the countdown clock expires for entry 7. The lights go out. And when they come back on, it's Veer! Veer Mahan is the 7th entry in the Royal Rumble match. Veer Mahan has finally come to the Royal Rumble. The crowd does a Bronx cheer as Veer gets into the ring and joins the fray of the 2022 Royal Rumble match. Then at entry 8, we get Dominic Mysterio. At entry 9, we get the reigning Intercontinental Champion, Shinsuke Nakamura, who upon entry into the match delivers 5 straight Kinshasa knee strikes. By this point, the ring's filling up, and with every man down, it's time for entry 10. At entry 10, in the 2022 Royal Rumble, we hear metal. The 1996 Olympic gold medalist Kurt Angle makes his return into the Royal Rumble match. The crowd pops big for this, as thunderous "You suck" chants rain down around the arena. Kurt gets into the ring and unloads a string of Angle slams on all the men in the match. Shinsuke Nakamura then attempts a Kinshasa knee on Kurt Angle. Angle catches Kinshasa, he catches the Kinshasa knee, hits and locks in an ankle lock on Shinsuke Nakamura. Great scenes. This whole moment, it'd just be absolutely sick. And then, at entry 11, the happy life plays. It's Baron Corbin, the man who retired Kurt Angle at WrestleMania 35. Baron Corbin arrogantly struts down to the ring. He gets into the ring. Baron Corbin's laughing at Kurt Angle. Baron rubs Kurt Angle's bald head. Angle stares at Corbin, just emotionless, death staring him. From here, Angle slams Baron Corbin. There's a loud pop. Then Kurt Angle grabs Corbin and eliminates him. Corbin is laid out at ringside in shock. The crowd begins thunderous "You suck" chants in unison at Baron Corbin. A true feel-good Royal Rumble moment, a stadium of people chanting along "You suck" to Baron Corbin as Kurt Angle's in the ring, smiling. From here, at entry 12 is the Apex Predator and one half of the reigning Raw Tag Team Champions, Randy Orton. Orton has a stare down with Kurt Angle before forming an alliance with Kurt Angle to eliminate Veer Mahan from the match. From here, at entry 13 is Austin Theory. Not much really to say. It's Austin, pal. Then at entry 14, here we go. This is good. At entry 14, the countdown clock rolls, and once it expires, we hear brand new theme music. The crowds are waiting with bated breath. Finally, we hear a loud roar from the crowd. The camera cuts to the rampway, and it's none other than another Olympic gold medalist, this time Gable Stevenson. Stevenson roars before sprinting into the ring and going on one of the all-time great Royal Rumble elimination sprees. Stevenson eliminates all-time great Rey Mysterio, his son Dominic Mysterio, the Intercontinental Champion Shinsuke Nakamura, Austin Theory, and finally A-list artist Bad Bunny. Stevenson absolutely cleans house on this field, eliminating all these guys in the space of merely 40 seconds. Stevenson is roaring like a madman after flinging Bad Bunny out of the Royal Rumble. Then, Stevenson turns around and comes face to face with Kurt Angle. Two Olympic gold medalists, the past versus the future. The crowd is chanting, "This is awesome." Angle shakes Stevenson's hand, then he attempts some amateur wrestling takedown move. From here, Stevenson powers out and does some amateur wrestling move of his own. Legit, what this would be is two amateur wrestling Olympic gold medalists going at it for 30 odd seconds on the mat, just doing their thing. I know stuff all about amateur wrestling. Just let these two gold medalists in the field do their thing. Just a damn cool Royal Rumble moment. Eventually, Stevenson gets up with Angle being, dumped on the ground, only for Randy Orton to hit Gable Stevenson with a wicked RKO out of nowhere. Next up, at entry 15, is Cedric Alexander, and entry 16 is Sami Zayn. By this point, Gable Stevenson has no-sold a Finn Balor coup de grace before kipping up and eliminating him from the Royal Rumble match, marking Stevenson's 6th, I believe, elimination of the match. Gable, he's dominantly standing in the ring, all by himself. Gable Stevenson's roaring, the crowd's going nuts. Gable Stevenson, this is a breakthrough, star-making performance. Gable Stevenson, oh my god, it's his night. And then the lights go out and a symphony orchestra plays. The entire crowd is standing with bated breath. The Austrian powerhouse Walter, the longest reigning champion in WWE of the modern era, makes his entrance at entry 17. Walter makes his way down to the ring, he wipes his feet before getting into the ring, then he steps inside and gets right in the face of Gable Stevenson. Gable screams at Walter, "This mat belongs to me!" Walter, his expression doesn't change. He merely unleashes one of the most thunderous, painful sounding chops in wrestling history onto Gable. Gable, his eyes nearly pop out of his head. Walter makes the shush motion at Gable. Walter then gets Gable in the corner before unloading 5 more unearthly chops to the debutant, or the debutant, whatever you want to say. After which, Gable collapses to the mat. Walter then grabs Gable and attempts to toss him over the top rope. Gable, he clings on, he's refusing to quit. From here, half a dozen guys in the match all rush over to Gable Stevenson, forcing him off the apron to officially eliminate Gable Stevenson from the Royal Rumble match. As soon as this chaos is done, Angelo Dawkins makes his way down to the ring at entry 18. He attempts to take down Walter and fails miserably. Then, at entry 19, out comes Sheamus. The Celtic Warrior rushes into the ring, immediately hits some brogue kicks. Then he turns around into an unworldly chop from Walter. Sheamus's pasty white chest immediately turns blue as a result of this chop. Sheamus is wincing as him and Walter come face to face with a face-off. Yet again, the crowd is on the edge of their seat as the two guys stare one another down. Sheamus and Walter go at it a little bit. Then, at entry 20, we get Montez Ford. Montez sprints down, Montez leaps onto the top rope, and right away hits his glorious frog splash onto Sheamus, who's already down the mat from what Walter did to him. Ford unloads a crazy string of offense from here. Then we get Matt Riddle joining the fray at entry 21. Himself and tag team partner Randy Orton go after the Street Profits a bit, so we get some Street Profits, Rated RK Bro stuff. Too easy. Also in here, Walter eliminates Cedric Alexander. Just because, why not? At entry 22, AJ Styles makes his way down into the match. One of the favorites of the Rumble, Styles enters the ring by hitting a phenomenal forearm to Randy Orton, as well as an array of offense on other guys. Styles really does go to town here until he's viciously chopped by Walter and drops to the mat in an instant. Next up, at entry 23, is Joe Gacy of NXT. Gacy comes down and immediately starts preaching at Walter. This gets some cheap laughs. Gacy's being a moron. He's preaching at Walter, saying some woke conspiracy at Walter. Then Sami Zayn comes over and joins Joe Gacy in his sermon. Walter breaks kayfabe here, looking at the hard cam in disgust, just shaking his head. From here, Walter hits a disgustingly wicked chop on both men. And then at entry 24 is Apollo Crews. The former Intercontinental Champion comes out to a good reaction. Then at entry 25, we get the Rated R Superstar and the 2021 Royal Rumble winner, Edge. Edge races down to the ring and immediately eliminates both Sami Zayn and Joe Gacy. Then Edge spears Sheamus and eliminates him. By this point, the crowd is going crazy once again. Edge racks up 3 quick eliminations. From here, entry 26 comes in, and entry 26 is Seth Rollins. After the defeat earlier in the night to Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins somehow managed to weasel his way into getting a Royal Rumble match spot. Rollins hobbles down and right away stares down his bitter rival Edge, before joining forces with his mate, supposedly Kevin Owens, to pummel Edge a bit more. After Seth Rollins drops Edge with a shoulder block, Kevin Owens gestures that himself and Seth should throw Edge over the top rope and eliminate him from the match. Owens turns his back to demonstrate the act of throwing Edge out. This allows enough time for Seth Rollins to ambush Owens from behind, throw him out over the top rope and to the floor. Owens' Iron Man performance is for nothing, as he sits on the floor, eliminated, smirking in disgust at Seth Rollins. From here, we get entry 27, the spot which has produced the most Royal Rumble winners in the history of the event. Entry 27 here is Damian Priest. The United States Champion gets a big pop as he makes his way down to the ring. Personally, I would have commentary putting over this whole, the most Royal Rumbles will ever have been won by the 27 spot. I'd have commentary putting this over big. Make it so over the top, so overbearing. You've got Michael Cole listing every Rumble winner who's ever come from 27. Pat McAfee's screaming, this is the guy, this is his night, this is Priest's moment. Pat McAfee's like jumping on the announce table and hype because Damian Priest is that awesome. Sell this big time, okay? So right away, Damian Priest eliminates Apollo Crews. Also at this point, Seth Rollins tosses out the legend Kurt Angle to a loud chorus of boos. From here, at entry 28, out comes the former WWE Champion, Big E. For the past few weeks on Raw, Big E has said that winning this Royal Rumble match and achieving his redemption means absolutely everything to him. Thus, Big E comes in like a raging bull, immediately eliminating both Street Profits, so Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins. From here, Randy Orton and Matt Riddle go to team up to try and eliminate Big E, but Randy Orton just stands there. He doesn't commit to trying to get rid of Big E, and thus Big E sends Riddle flying, Matt Riddle's gone, and thus we get a bit of Team Rated RK Bro tension from here. By this point in the Rumble, it's reaching its apex, and by the way, quick recap, here's who's left with 2 entrants left for the match. We got Seth Rollins, AJ Styles, Big E, Damian Priest, Randy Orton, Edge, and Volta. An all-star game of sorts. Next up is entry 29. At entry 29, Jey Uso comes down. Michael Cole is shouting that this is a ruse. Paul Heyman must have rigged this so that Jey Uso can come in and face his cousin Roman at WrestleMania. Pat McAfee starts yelling back at Cole, "Do you even watch the show we commentate? The Usos don't like Paul Heyman. They turn their back on him. What do you want about Cole? Shut up." Like, you got McAfee and Cole yelling. Just classic commentary work from both of them. From here, we get to entry number 30. With all the announced entrants already being featured in the match, who on earth could entry 30 be? The countdown clock runs out. There's a pause. And then, the sound of swords play. Drew McIntyre enters the 2022 Royal Rumble match. The crowd comes unglued. People are in shock. People are absolutely in shock. Drew McIntyre rushes down. The crowd, people's jaws are on the floor. Everyone thought he's in Scotland. They thought he wouldn't be able to be in this match. Drew McIntyre is here. No one knows how, but he is. At entry number 30, McIntyre rushes into the ring, hits a thunderous claymore on Seth Rollins. From here, he makes AJ Styles do a 360 with a wicked clothesline. Then Drew turns around and goes face to face with Volta. Volta chops Drew. Drew eats it, then unleashes a wicked chop of his own to Volta. Volta grimaces, drops him to his knees. The crowd erupts at the sight of this. And with that, let's recap. There are 9 men left in the 2022 Royal Rumble match. Randy Orton, Edge, Volta, AJ Styles, Seth Rollins, Big E, Damian Priest, Jey Uso, and Drew McIntyre. The first man to go is Seth Rollins. Rollins attempts to eliminate Big E, but Big E has none of it. Fighting out, then grabbing Seth Rollins and military press slamming him over the top rope to the floor. From here, Randy Orton and Edge do battle for a bit. This culminates in Edge eliminating Randy Orton for literally the 3rd year in a row now. Randy smirks at Edge before walking off. Next to go is Jey Uso, who attempts to do a top rope dive onto Drew McIntyre, but McIntyre unleashes an unworldly Claymore kick onto Jey Uso. Jey Uso gets dropped like a fly. Drew picks up Jey, tosses him out. Then Drew McIntyre looks down the barrel of the camera and screams, "I'm coming for you, Roman." From here, a super physical exchange between Damian Priest and Volta ensues. Volta gets Priest on the ropes and is valiantly trying to eliminate him, but can't quite. Damian Priest is just too strong. Then we get a face-off between Edge and AJ Styles. The crowd is absolutely loving this. Both guys go back and forth before ultimately Edge eliminates AJ Styles from the Royal Rumble match. Edge, he's raising his arms proudly in the air after eliminating AJ Styles. Edge is happy with this. Styles, he's pissed. He rushes back into the ring, clubs Edge from behind, grabs him, throws him out of the Royal Rumble, eliminating Edge. This causes a massive brawl at ringside. We've got like 11 referees. We've got Adam Pearce is down there. We've got security guards. Edge and Styles are pissed. They need to be held apart. Beef is spilling over between these two men, so chaos ensues there. After this chaos, we get the Final Four. The Final Four, Big E, Volta, Drew McIntyre, and the man that Drew McIntyre himself picked to win the Rumble, Damian Priest. Right away, the 3 men triple team Volta. Volta escapes the predicament, then moments later, Big E rushes over, grabs Damian Priest, and dumps him out of the ring. Priest, he's in shock. The favorite is eliminated as the WWE Universe is just stunned. Big E screams, I gotta do what I gotta do, man. This is my moment. From here, we're down to 3 as we get Drew McIntyre delivering a thunderous Claymore kick to Big E. Volta hits a few wicked chops of Big E. And then Volta grabs Big E and manages to eliminate him from the Royal Rumble match. To which Wrestling Twitter cries racism because Wrestling Twitter's down horrendous. And with that, we get only 2 men left. Drew McIntyre and Volta. Volta goes right after Drew. Drew ducks Volta, bounces off the ropes, Claymore kick. From here, Drew grabs Volta and throws him over the top rope, but Volta hangs on. Volta's hanging on for dear life. Volta gets back to his feet on the apron, and then Drew McIntyre bounds off the ropes once again. Thunderous Claymore kick. Volta goes flying off the apron, and with that, Drew McIntyre wins the 2022 Royal Rumble match. The crowd comes unglued. People are still in shock that Drew's even in the match. The whole rationale of this will be explained at a later date, but nonetheless, Drew McIntyre wins the 2022 Royal Rumble match. You love to see it. And finally, we get to our main event, Brock Lesnar vs. Bobby Lashley for the WWE Championship. This would be an absolute war, a fight of all fights. Ultimately, I would have Brock Lesnar in control of the match. He hits an F5 on Lashley. Lashley's dead to rights. Then I'd have Roman Reigns' music hit. Roman would slowly make his way down to the ring. He'd stare down Brock. Then Roman would stare at Paul Heyman. Roman would rush at Heyman, spear Heyman to the ground. Brock Lesnar would be irate. He'd be pissed. Before Brock can do anything though, Bobby Lashley grabs Brock Lesnar from behind, locks in the tightest hurt lock we've ever seen. Brock Lesnar's turning purple. Okay, Lesnar collapses. He's just out cold. He loses all oxygen to the brain, and thus Bobby Lashley wins the WWE Championship to close the 2022 Royal Rumble. Okay, we end the pay-per-view with Bobby Lashley on the top rope, posing with the WWE Championship, pointing at the WrestleMania logo. Meanwhile, Brock Lesnar is standing over Paul Heyman, who's being loaded onto a gurney by EMTs at ringside, with Roman Reigns on the aisleway raising the Universal Championship, smirking, and we get a camera shot backstage of Drew McIntyre in the trainer's room getting his neck attended to. So that's how I'd book the 2022 Royal Rumble. But before I get out of here, I just want to explain a few things just so this makes a bit more sense, so it's clear, so there's no issues with anything here. My big Night 2 main event for WrestleMania 38 is Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar versus Drew McIntyre for the Universal Championship in a triple threat match. The 3 clear, big-time stars of SmackDown going to war over the Universal title. I figured Roman versus Brock one-on-one is overplayed. Not enough people care to see that anymore. We've seen Roman versus Drew already. Yes, it was really good. We've seen that already a couple times. And we never got to see Brock Lesnar versus Drew McIntyre with a real crowd. So, why not combine all 3 of those into one mega main event? Plus, Drew McIntyre can be pretty much protected throughout the whole build for the next 2 months and in the match itself, because obviously the neck's a bit of an issue. So, Drew can do this match, he can get through it, then he can go off and have surgery after WrestleMania. On the WWE title side of things, I would do AJ Styles versus Edge at Super Showdown, with the winner earning the right to face Bobby Lashley at WrestleMania 38 for the WWE title. I would have Edge beat AJ Styles in a classic at Super Showdown. Then, come WrestleMania 38 Night 1, I would have Edge beat Bobby Lashley thanks to AJ Styles interfering and costing Bobby Lashley the title. The story being, AJ Styles knows he can't beat Bobby Lashley because Lashley's too much of an unstoppable force, so he has to cost Lashley the title just to put the belt on Edge because Styles knows he can beat Edge and he can't beat Lashley. So there's the story. From there, in the summer, I'd have Edge versus AJ Styles for the WWE title at Backlash, and they'd do one final match at SummerSlam. Meanwhile, Bobby Lashley would take on Brock Lesnar in a rematch of Money in the Bank, and finally, a war at SummerSlam, probably no holds barred or in a steel cage, or a combat style match, whatever. So there you have it. That's how I would book the 2022 Royal Rumble pay-per-view. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, be sure to smash the hell out of that like button. And let me know what your favorite part was. So yeah, like, comment, subscribe, and drill.